மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we're going to see a very similar opening to the previous tactic, but very different sort of tactical idea. So let's go through the opening. Again, black is going to play what resembles some sort of Queen's Indian setup after c5 and then b6. And now white will play c4 and bishop b7. Now I want to make a point that this could come from a few different move orders. Let's imagine that black doesn't play c5 here, but plays b6, and white plays c4 as I had discussed before, and then after bishop to b7, knight f3, black plays c5. This could transpose into the same position as we see in this game. So for now, we'll stick with the game move order after knight f3, b6, c4. Again, being more ambitious, fighting for more space, and after bishop b7, this is actually the first tactical moment that white employs, and actually sacrifices a pawn. Again, we see this very thematic idea of d5, even though the d pawn is not defended sufficiently, it seems like, as it's attacked 3 times by black. There are tactics which make this playable for white. And as we'll see, white's going to get a lot of compensation after black takes the pawn. So e take d5, knight c3. It's important that white doesn't take back. This move would make no sense because after knight take d5, hitting the bishop, white really has no compensation here. But after knight c3, white simply attacks the pawn, wants to take it next, threatening c take d5. So probably what's best for black is to play some sort of move like a6 or d6 and allow white to take and just get a space advantage. But in the game, we'll see black takes on c4, and then white is the one with tons of initiative. Next move being very strong, knight to b5, threatening the very simple knight to c7. Black really only has one defense, knight a6, and then bishop takes c4. We can see white's pieces coming to life. All the minor pieces are developed. White is still down a pawn, but there's a lot of nice compensation here, given that knight d6 is on the horizon, knight g5 is on the horizon, and black was essentially provoked to play what looks like a good fighting move, pawn d5, kicking the bishop, expanding in the center, and if it weren't for white's next move, black would be completely fine. But in this position, white's next move is just so deadly, and just turns out to be winning on the spot. So the move to play here for white is perhaps the unexpected counterattacking move, queen a4. Allowing the bishop to be taken, but creating much more dangerous threats against the black king. So if we imagine that the bishop is taken, this is not going to end well for black. A move like knight d6, king e7, and then just very simply taking on b7. White is actually winning material here. The queen is attacked, this knight is attacked, bishop d6 is coming, and white just has a monstrous advantage. So going back to this position after queen to a4, doesn't seem like there's too many great options for black. Black could play queen d7, but this just runs into knight e5. And if the queen is attacked, it has to move away from defending the king, white's going to follow through with another deadly discovered attack. So queen d7 out of the question. Let's look at knight d7. Looks like the most logical move. Keeping things sort of under control. The pawn is still defended by the bishop. Now the diagonal is blocked. Here white has a very nice and simple move just to increase the pressure, and in this position, all white needs to do is increase the pressure to a point where black runs out of defensive resources. So the best move is just to castle queenside, adding the rook to the game, putting pressure on the d pawn. D pawn is now attacked twice, and even though it leaves the bishop hanging, black can't easily get away with taking the bishop. Let's imagine d takes c4 is played. Maybe not anything much better than to go for this line. But now there's a very, very strong move from white, rook take d7. And black's position is completely falling apart. If we imagine queen take d7, again we see knight e5. And again, the queen has to move off of this this diagonal, so away from defense of the king. Let's imagine a move, I don't even know, like queen, where can the queen move where it can't be attacked? Maybe queen e7, but there's just so many great looking options for white. Perhaps a move like knight d6 check, king d8, and then just taking on f7. White is winning a boatload of material. King c7 is actually forced, and now walking into another discovered check, knight f5, and white is clearly having all the fun. So going back, we can see how dangerous this sort of opening is if white can quickly develop the pieces and prioritize piece activity over material. In this case, black was maybe a bit too greedy going after these seemingly free pawns, but they weren't so free, and especially even in this position, black is already in some big trouble. So hope you guys enjoyed this. That's another example of where whites can deviate from the standard London setup relatively early, kind of based on what black is doing. Again, we see the c4 move being a bit more ambitious. And that's what I would encourage players to do. If you see your opponent is doing some perhaps different setup than what is normally played, you want to look for ways to deviate and to put more pressure on your opponent early, because that's what can lead to tactics. So with that, I will see you guys in the next lesson.
மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.